You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Friend to the room.
Judge Faith Jenkins.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Good
Thank
morning.
you so much for having me back.
Thank you.
I can't believe it's been 6 months. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has.
Damn.
It was 6 months ago, yes.
Wow. Did anything change for you after this interview?
My social media blew up. That's for sure. I was not prepared. I've never been on before. I was not prepared.
That's all.
But in a good way.
A lot of people
people
shooting
trying to
their
holler.
shot. Like, Judge is fine.
Well, no, just in general, people saying, I had a lot of positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she calls it.
That's what you call it? That's what you call it? Okay.
lot
What
of
them DMs look like? What them DMs look like,
DMs
Judge?
are okay. No, it was fine. I was overwhelmed, but in a good way. I was not prepared for that.
You
but
see how she called
it's
it? She's
amazing.
like, it was pop. Somebody say popping. But just say popping.
Now, any celebs in your DMs?
In my DMs, a couple.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But all positivity. All good stuff. It was all positive.
How's your segment on Steve Harvey's show going?
Oh, it's going great.
Okay.
It's going great. I started doing Judge Faith Rules at the end of the season, and that's going to be recurring this season as well. But it's fun because I go on and I give the legal aspect of what the issues are, and he gives the not so legal
Yeah.
aspect of it. And but it's fun. It's a good segment.
How'd that come about?
Just in conversations, talking to him about what I was doing, and he likes the show, so he invited me on. And after we did the first segment, I think the executive producer said it did really well and that people enjoyed it, so they invited me to come back
Got you.
to keep doing it.
What was the craziest case you had with him?
With Steve?
Mhm.
Oh goodness, we had a few crazy cases, but I think it's one where the guy, he's an aspiring
Rapper.
model.
Oh, model. Okay. I was
One
close.
of those.
One of those.
But someone was using his photos on to promote their products without talking to him and without his permission. And you see a lot of that.
Catfish.
Catfishing.
Yeah.
You did you just on a show about that. And so you see a lot of that now. Our laws are really trying to catch up with technology. Technology has moved so fast
Oh, it's the
that
worst.
it's still trying to catch up, even with women on who are in the public eye and the threats. And I shouldn't say just women, but I hear this more from women.
Okay.
The threats that we get on social media, the stalking, the harassment on social media. And even me as a former prosecutor, I had one individual, it was so bad. I'm not rattled easily because I've seen a lot of things, but there was one person I was very concerned about, and I called one of my friends who was also a former prosecutor, and I talked to him about it. It's like, listen, as bad as this is, and I understand why you're concerned, there's nothing you can do about it right now because they're just words on a paper right
My
now.
lawyer told me the same
And
exact
it
thing.
is until someone gets up to you, takes that next step with action when it could possibly be too
Shoot,
late.
kill you, punch you in the face, all that, huh?
You can't do anything right now. And so that's why I say our laws are still catching up because these are very valid concerns that people have with some things happening on social media, myself included in that one instance.
I feel that way about defamation on social media.
Yeah.
I feel like social media sites like the Twitter apps, the Instagram, all that, they should be held liable for things that certain people
That they allow on their
say.
sites,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You can't just be saying anything you want about people.
But it's it's a balancing act between people having their right to express themselves and their First Amendment freedoms, and
But straight up
when it crosses that
defamation?
line,
Yeah.
when it crosses that line into defamation. But I'm just saying because everyone has access now, everyone has a voice, and a lot of people, because the anonymity of it all is what is hurting people the most because you're able to hide behind a keyboard and in many cases not reveal your true identity and say what you want, and you can approach anyone now, whereas it used to be you couldn't have access to celebrities to communicate with them or people in the public eye, and now that's all changed.
Yeah, they think just because they can at you, y'all on the same level.
And people, they watch you every day, so they feel like they know you too. So there's a familiarity there as well.
If you was a judge and Cardi B came into your courtroom after you saw her trying to attack Nicki Minaj, what would you sentence her to?
Sentence? I wouldn't sentence her to anything. I don't think it rose to the level of a crime.
Okay.
But it was certainly concerning. I mean, people had to hold her back from the video that I saw.
She threw a shoe, so would that be attempted assault?
Oh, did she throw a shoe?
Oh, no, she didn't throw a shoe then. I don't want to get in trouble.
It's a video. Yes, she threw.
Oh, okay. She did throw a shoe. Okay, so yeah, that's attempted assault.
That's a charge?
It could be. It could be. But I mean, in those cases, no one's. First of all, no one's going to press charges. I don't think it's going to be something that that someone's going to move forward with. But it could be.
So you wouldn't have sentenced her to nothing if she was in there?
No.
Because you love Bodak Yellow.
That's my workout song. So I do like that song.
Now you got your notepad. What you got your notepad for?
Because whenever I come in here, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, and because I'm a judge in legal stuff, I just like to be prepared.
True.
Okay.
And so I always take notes before I come in because it's a different kind of interview for me here.
Did you see Judge Lynn Tyler here the other day?
I saw that she was here.
Oh,
I was excited about that. I saw the clips that were posted.
She spoke about mental health and people suffering from it and how it affects her when she's on the stand determining cases. Does that factor into your decision making too?
Well, I see people in front of me that I realize have issues. And that comes in a variety of ways. People who are suffering because of things that happened to them in their childhood or as a result of relationships, and then there's just the chemical imbalance that some people have, and so I've seen it in a variety of ways on my show, and you take that into consideration.
Do you think judges, doctors, I would say police officers should take some type of mental test before they get that position?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't, especially we're talking about police officers now, and a lot of these cases that we continue to see. There's a case right now in Dallas that's all over the news. The young man who was shot and killed in his own apartment. Absolutely. That's one of the things that concerns me, especially with police officers, because you do have that responsibility. You do carry a gun. You do carry a badge. And every day when you go out, lives are at stake, yours and other people's. So it's important that they are properly vetted and have the training, and the mental health aspect is a serious part of that.
Now,
what do you think of that case of the off-duty cop who walked into
Dallas.
the wrong apartment and shot an unarmed black man?
I think, listen, we've all worked long days and long hours. I know I have 14-hour days. And I still think it's strange that you can, one of these things could happen and I'd be like, okay, but for you to not realize you're on the wrong floor in your parking garage, you're on the wrong floor of your apartment building. Then you get to the door, and according to New York Times, there's this red mat. That mat was there. And so you don't realize that you're not at your apartment when you see a distinctive red mat in front of the door. Then your key doesn't work. That's 4 things. You still don't realize that it's not your apartment. I have a hard time processing that and understanding it. But at the same time, I don't think this woman woke up that day and say, I'm going to kill somebody. I'm going to go out and find a black guy to kill. So it probably was a really egregious mistake. She did go to the wrong apartment, but at the same time, you don't get you were off duty. You don't get the protections. You don't get to stand behind the fact that you're a police officer and get special treatment. And that's what's happening in that case right now. She wasn't arrested for 3 days. Any other person, you go into someone's home and you shoot and kill them in their home, they're putting cuffs on you.
Absolutely.
And you're walking away in cuffs. And that did not happen with her. So from that moment, I knew she's getting special treatment. She's getting preferential treatment. And that's a problem.
So what can happen to her? Let's say everything she said was true. It was an accident. She walked into the wrong apartment, but somebody still died. What could happen to her?
You said it wasn't.
Let's say it was an accident. Let's say everything she said, it was an accident. She really walked into the wrong apartment.
Yeah.
She made a mistake, but somebody still died. What could happen to her?
Assuming all of that is true, she should still be charged with murder. It was when she fired the gun, that was an intentional act. That is murder.
So not manslaughter?
I think that manslaughter is not a strong enough charge in this case because it wasn't a reckless shooting. The shooting was intentional.
True.
Was she reckless in the fact that she went in his apartment? Yes, that was the reckless act. The shooting itself wasn't reckless. And I think she should be charged with murder.
Do you feel her account of what happened was self-serving? Like she said that she walked to the apartment and gave him verbal commands to stop.
You don't get to give somebody verbal commands in their home.
Yeah.
And you're so disoriented that you don't know where you are but you're able to follow police protocols, what you're saying. But up until that point, you're so disoriented, you don't know anything. Of course it's self-serving. The entire story has changed to be self-serving, but that's what we see happen in a lot of police shootings, especially when it comes to unarmed Black people, because police officers don't get convicted for shootings by and large. There was that one case in Dallas that just happened, Jordan Davis, Jordan Edwards. The police officer is Roy Oliver. He was just convicted. That was the first conviction in 45 years in Dallas. They don't get convicted for shooting people. So she's going to take her chances and go to trial.
From a legal standpoint, is it too early to tell the probable outcome of that case?
From a legal standpoint, I can say that our laws are not designed to convict police officers for shootings under any circumstances. So even in that case, I think it's still based on the law, an uphill battle, and even though she was off duty.
Yeah, can you even give verbal commands when you're off duty?
No. I mean, I guess, in her capacity, she could always be acting under the color of the law, because a police officer, I mean, if you see something going on, let me back up for a second. So if you're a police officer and you see someone breaking the law, can you just, you can go in and say, show your badge, I'm a police officer. Yes, you can do that. But this is not one of those situations. This is someone who is in their home minding their own business. You don't give verbal commands to a person minding their business in their house.
Right. You don't sound objective about this one at all,
well,
Judge.
Because
I would hate to be in front of you if I was her.
I mean, don't you think this is, of all the shootings we've seen, this is the most egregious?
It's one of them.
I mean, so that's why I feel the way I do about this. This is crazy.
And then the preference
he fits to the, and because we always this annoys me when we see when cases happen, and because people start describing, he was a straight A student and he never been in any trouble. It shouldn't matter.
Shouldn't, right? Because
if you are innocent and you haven't done anything, it doesn't matter if you are a pastor or a prostitute. If you're not supposed to be killed in that moment, if you haven't done anything to warrant someone shooting you, it doesn't matter. But this guy, if you want to check those boxes, I mean, he worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers. He was a member of his church. He was the poster child for what because people always say, well, don't run, don't break the law, and they won't shoot. He didn't do anything.
So if you were the judge on this case, would you sentence her?
Absolutely.
Is there ever a way for them to get in your ear and be like, look, we're not sentencing her, Judge?
And does that happen?
Oh, you mean in general in court?
Yes.
I mean, obviously it's very early, and I'm sure, but this case, to me, I just don't know how many more facts can come out to sway anything about what we've heard.
Right.
But you mean, can someone get into a judge's? I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, because I feel like the judicial system is all intertwined.
What?
I feel like it's all intertwined, the judicial system, everybody.
I mean, it is. I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that personally, but I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, that it hasn't happened in the history of our criminal justice system, given all the issues that we have.
So murder in the first degree, you'd send her away.
I think it's second degree.
Second degree.
Second degree get you what time? 15 to life?
I think in Texas it may be 15 or 25 to life.
You'd give it that?
Yes.
Wow.
He doesn't get another day.
His life, his family doesn't.
He doesn't get another day.
Yeah.
So as tragic of an accident, because when you decide to carry a gun, there's a responsibility that goes with that.
True indeed.
And you take a risk every time you decide to pull it out and shoot it. And this time, it was a horrible, egregious mistake, and someone lost their life that shouldn't have.
Now, the man who was in the elevator, that wouldn't let them the young black
In
brothers
Florida,
in the elevator.
FAMU.
Florida. Did you see that?
Did
case?
you hear about that?
I don't think I know about this one.
Yeah, in FAMU, it was 4 students who were on campus. They were going into a student complex, and some guy who didn't live in the building, older white guy, came and told them they couldn't get on the elevator. And then he pulled a gun on them to let them know, you're not getting on this elevator.
And where was this?
It was. I want to say it was on FAMU campus,
was
but
an
it was
apartment
definitely
complex.
But they live
It was
in the
definitely a
apartment
student
complex.
They were going
building.
to visit somebody on a complex.
Yeah, maybe
they-
it wasn't the campus, but it was a student complex.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said that they did not, they weren't supposed to be there.
He said off-campus student housing.
Off campus.
Oh,
student
okay.
house,
And he pulled a gun.
Yep.
Yes.
That's Florida. See, I don't, everybody has a gun in Florida. Everyone. So, yeah, that's bad. He should be arrested too.
I think
what?
I think he's charged.
Because-
they're trying to
They
charge him now.
fired his ass. That's the most important thing. Fired his ass.
Oh, he
Yeah.
worked there too?
No.
No, he worked at a hotel. He was
Oh,
a manager
okay.
at a hotel.
Manager at a hotel, so they fired him from the hotel.
Yeah. Brandish a weapon. No reason, no need. But that's, this is the state of where we are awash in guns in this country. We have just decided that we love our guns. There are more guns in America than people.
Mm.
Florida is one of those places. I feel like we're fortunate because we're in New York. But Florida is one of those places where you can have a gun practically anywhere
And to stand your ground law.
and stand your ground. I don't get in arguments with people when I go to Florida. Everybody gets their parking space. You can everyone, because you don't know, and you don't know what kind of mood people are in, mental state. There's a guy that was just shot, and he used stand your ground. The guy that did the shooting used stand your ground recently in Florida. They were arguing over a parking space.
Yeah.
He was killed.
Well, I always say the craziest people in the world come from the Bronx and all of Florida.
Okay, you put the Bronx in there too?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you pray before you drop that gavel on people? Like, do you pray before
Every
you make
time?
these decisions?
Every time? I pray every day. I pray a general prayer in the morning to cover my day, but not every time.
Because you got such a big responsibility. You got people's, like, freedom in the palm of your
Let me
hand.
tell you, talk about big responsibility. Can I tell you, so, on the show that we do, all of our cases are real. But this new project that I'm working
Was that
on.
shade to the other judges? Other judge shows?
That was a little stab.
Wow.
That was a little
Wow.
stabby pool.
No, because people ask sometimes, are these cases really real? Because I can't believe these people. And I'm like, yes, they are. But this new project that I'm working on, it's a new show. It's a crime show. And you talk about the responsibility. This will probably be the most important work I've ever done in my life.
Really?
I am teamed up with a former NYPD detective. He's a private investigator now. Amazing professional. And we are going to be traveling to different states, jurisdictions where the police invite us in, the DAs invite us in to investigate and try to solve cold case murders across the country. And so these are families who, have not been able to get justice.
I love these type of shows.
Yeah,
Scares the
yeah,
shit
and
out
this
of me,
is
but I love 'em.
but this is real. Like these are cases that are unsolved, and we're going to go and we have access to the best technology and resources, and we're going to bring those resources and try to solve some cases that are unsolved.
Oh, what network is this going to be on?
You'll see.
You executive producing too?
You'll see. I think so.
Do you have time for all of this?
I do have time. I have I have the same 24 hours in the day as you do.
And
you're
Beyonce.
always busy. I always see you doing stuff.
That is a
Now,
fact.
have you ever made a mistake on the stand and knew it was a mistake after?
After I've watched a couple of shows and I thought, yeah, I probably could have. I probably would have done that differently, but only a couple of times. Usually, I am right.
And what were the
Okay.
cases? Do you know you remember the cases?
I don't remember now. I've done so many cases.
So you just throw them in the jail and I messed up, but he'll be
No,
all right.
I don't.
You don't
It's
put people in
civil.
jail.
It's civil.
It's
Civil. Oh,
It's
yeah,
just
you're right.
money.
That's a lot though. If I got to pay somebody something.
It hasn't been so bad where I think, oh, I just messed up somebody's livelihood. But a couple of times I've been, I may have done that a little bit different, but only a couple. And I've done hundreds and hundreds of cases at this point. So I think that's a pretty good track record. No one's perfect.
So I'm thinking about it now. When you was in Belgium a couple of weeks ago, was that because of this show? Or that was vacation?
That was vacation.
Oh, gotcha.
That was
Okay.
vacation. Yeah.
You won't be solving no cases abroad, is what you're saying.
Maybe with this, we'll see what happens
Now,
with
you said
this
baby.
new show.
You know who you was in Belgium with?
What? I said maybe.
Oh.
You know what I meant to ask? In your relationship, right? Do you argue?
What relationship?
Are you in a relationship? I'm sorry.
So personal. You just ask personal questions.
I was just assuming, but are you? Okay.
Do you have a general question?
In previous relationships. Now, because you're a judge, when you argue, is it like argue like you're a judge?
You sentence your man.
That's the question. Yeah. Do you?
It's
Is
funny.
it one of those things?
You know what? I have to tell you, I'm aware of the fact that I probably have a strong personality, and I try not to cross-examine people. when I ask them questions.
True.
But I have been told before that, you're I feel like I'm being cross-examined.
We're not in court.
We're not in court. So I understand that. And I try to, yeah.
Have you met any judges yet? Because last time you were here, you said you hadn't met none of the judges.
I still have. Well, I met a couple. I met Judge Maybelline and Judge Mathis.
Oh.
Yeah, good people. But we don't run in the same circle. It's not like we have a judges meeting like once a month.
Club, maybe the club.
Right.
No.
So everyone's busy doing their work, and so I ran into a couple of them.
I see you repping Miss America 2019 as well.
I just got back from the pageant. It was just this past weekend.
How was the pageant?
It was great. I was there supporting Louisiana, Holly. Miss New York won. She's black. And I just, there's just been so much controversy this year about the program, and I love the program. It changed my life. And I feel like, there's Miss America and then there's every other pageant. For me, Miss America is totally different. These women are scholars. They're in school. They are doing tremendous work in their communities. This whole debate about the swimsuit competition, that's such a minor part of what that program is about.
There is no swimsuit.
There was no
right?
swimsuit competition this year. And I paid for my entire education in 3 years competing in Miss America. I won, probably more money than most. But in 3 years, I paid for my entire education. And me even being in the program, it's not like I grew up doing pageants. I didn't have any money. And me being in the program, it come on the heels of me experiencing the biggest rejection and hurt I'd ever experienced in my life, and I was just looking for something else to do. I was.
You always get a little teary-eyed when you talk about being rejected.
I wasn't
in the Miss America pageant.
Do I?
Just a little.
Well, this is a little different though. I was in school at Louisiana Tech. And I was a sophomore at the time. I knew nothing about pageants and never competed. And this predominantly white school. And I was just a regular student, just going to class, doing my little organizations. But I really wanted to have more black friends, more black female friends especially. So I decided to go out for a sorority. And I went to the meeting for the sorority. It was small, because this is a white school, so not a large membership here. So like 7 girls. And I was one of the only 2 that they rejected and didn't vote to get in. It was true. It's a true story.
I know.
And at the time, I was so hurt because I was like, these are my people.
You want a bond? It happened to him too.
So yeah, so I was rejected. So you understand.
I wasn't rejected.
Yes, you were. Stop lying.
Well,
he hates all Kappas to this day.
I wasn't rejected. Actually, my grade, I had to have I had to pass a test. I had to have an 81, and the teacher gave me a 79.
Oh, so you didn't meet the qualifications.
Well, you had to say it like that, but I didn't make the qualification.
If you bring a cane in here right now, he'll start crying.
But
listen, but you understand at the time how hurtful that was. I was so young, and that was so hurtful to me, and I was just
Stop
like,
laughing.
what? I was like, what? And so anyway, then I had applied for a job in the dorm, same semester. I'd applied. I was a resident assistant in the dorm. I don't want to say what sorority.
I don't even want to shout him out.
It's AKA, but go ahead. AKA.
Old bougie ass AKA.
AKA. Don't worry, they lost a good one. Don't worry.
Should have played Zeta.
Let me finish my story. So then I went to apply for a job in the dorm as a hall director, and I was a senior RA. That's when you ran the floor, but I was senior at that point, and I was next up for this job in the dorm, same semester. And I was like, oh, I'm a shoo-in for this job because I'm the most senior person applying.
You got rejected again.
They didn't pick me. They picked somebody under me, yes. And so that was
I'm gonna be honest with you. That was God though, because you'd have to been the hall monitor watching the AKAs walk down the hall all the time, having a good time. You wouldn't want that.
Goodness
Kiwi.
So let me tell you, that was a bad semester.
Whatever that call is.
Skiwi.
Yeah.
I didn't say which sorority. Y'all said that. But I was trying to figure out. So I quit my hall director job. So I didn't have a job and I didn't have any friends. So that was a rough semester for me. But then I was walking in the student union one day and they had a sign up for Miss Louisiana Tech University, the college pageant. And at the bottom in small print, it said the winner would win free tuition, a full ride for a whole year. And that's when I decided, oh, I should do this. I'd never done anything like this before in my life. And there had never been a black Miss Louisiana Tech. So all the odds were against me. But that was the only reason that I even looked and considered, was because I was like, I need to find something else to do and I need more money for school. And I signed up to do Miss Louisiana Tech. And it was a preliminary to Miss Louisiana. I didn't even want to compete at Miss Louisiana. I just wanted to be Miss Tech. But they told me you have to, because this is a stepping stone to that. So what happened is I won Miss Tech the night I competed and became the first black woman to win that title. And it changed my whole life, because then I went to Miss Louisiana, won 2 years later, then went to Miss America, was first runner-up, and won $90,000 in scholarships in 3 years. All because of that job I didn't get and the sorority that I wasn't let into.
Didn't take you.
And so I was like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
God.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it changed my whole life that semester.
Well, they always say, trust the things that God blocks in your life.
Yes. So every time something happens now in my career, I think about that semester and that story, because my plan was not big enough. God's plan was so much bigger and so much better, and I'm so grateful.
You don't ever wear pink and green.
I didn't say anything. I love those colors. They're beautiful.
Well, how long did it take you to forgive that sorority? Like, if one of them comes up in front of you and you're on the stand.
I would thank them.
No.
I should thank them.
They get life.
I mean, I'm grateful for that. I'm serious, because I mean, I would not be here where I am right now had those two things not happened that semester. I'm grateful.
I never understood why black people want to be Greek anyway, but that's a whole nother conversation.
I told you my reason. Yeah, I really wanted more friends. I really wanted more friends. And I went to a school where in my classes I was with, I wanted to have more friends, more people who look like me on college. That was my primary reason for going.
Mine, I wanted to go into Wall Street and go into business, and there was so many different connections and different lanes, and I didn't need it.
Yeah. Y'all look so sad talking about getting rejected from this sorority. I love it.
That is hysterical.
He ain't go to college.
Shut up. I never knew it was benefits to the Miss America thing, though. I'm be honest with you.
Oh, no, it's great benefits.
I know that people get mad. I just thought it was vanity.
No, it's not. It's a lot of hard work that goes into it. I'd love to see you judge, so you can have the experience.
Yeah, but my man Bobby Bones was a judge this past weekend.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah, he's a radio personality. He's a nationally syndicated country radio personality.
You should ask him about it. The young women who compete are very impressive. I mean, just listen to the introductions. There's a woman who's working at Microsoft right now. They are, pre-law, pre-med, going on to be professors, entrepreneurs in the arts. It's very competitive, and it just, at such a young age, to have that experience just elevated me to another level.
Wow.
Dope.
Well, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Is this a new season starting?
Of what?
Your judge show.
Right now we're in reruns.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in reruns, and I hope to have some really good news on my social media. My Instagram is Judge Faith Jenkins. I hope to have some really exciting new news about a reboot of my show very soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. It's Judge Faith Jenkins.
Yes, and follow her. She said at Judge Faith Jenkins.
Yeah.
We came here to get her Instagram followers up again. All right.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.